Hi Scoots, I'm Inksy, and this mobile incinerator with the wings is Blot. And welcome back to my Artwork Rework series, though this episode is a little different. Usually I would take an old artwork of mine and redo it in my current style. However, I also want to include completely new pieces as part of this series, since as you'll see, they all have the same style and structure, and therefore it's just easier to add it here than to create a separate series for it. So for this episode, I don't have an old artwork of mine to reference for the composition, therefore I'm going to have to do it from scratch. First things first, we're going to need a theme. And it just so happens that I'm part of a Discord server that does monthly art prompts, so that makes my life a whole lot easier. And December's prompt is Snow Queen/King, which is perfect. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you're probably expecting the next step to be the sketch. However, since I don't have a point of reference, I will actually be doing thumbnailing. And with thumbnailing, at least in my case, it is extremely messy and oftentimes illegible, since I'm just getting the idea done rather than focusing on making it look pretty. And I am not exaggerating when I say my thumbnails look horrendous. Sometimes you can't tell what the hell I've even drawn. But as long as I know what it's supposed to be, it doesn't really matter, because in the end that's just supposed to help me get ideas down quickly without overthinking it. So for the first one, I was thinking of doing a castle in the hair, since it's royalty and regal and all that, and an Arctic fox sleeping in the foreground, but this looks indecisive and the fox looks out of place. So for the next one, I still like the idea of the castle in the background, but this time I thought maybe a polar bear could be cool to add in the foreground. But as I was sketching this one out, I had this idea to maybe have an animal that feels a bit more regal to go with the royalty aspect of this piece. So for the third option, I added a deer with antlers walking out of the foreground. I really think this option works the best, though I did end up switching the crown for option 2 since I think it works better for the comp, due to it kind of matching the deer's antlers. And now it's time for the sketch and color tests. Not much to say about the sketch other than as much as I was happy with the overall composition, this section here with the castle and the deer is look how much they are overlapping and there's no negative space. Bruh, it took me way too long to realize that that's what was bugging me about this piece. And I mean like a full day of me staring at this shit kind of too long. And it was only the next day when I looked at it with fresh eyes, I was like, oh, shit. It was so obvious. So I moved the castle a bit further back in the distance, and now look, the deer doesn't have a regal building up its snout. Hooray. Happy with that? Now it's time to move on to the color tests. Here's the thing. I usually try to keep to 3 options max for each step, but sometimes I get indecisive. As you can see here, I've done 4 options, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but keep in mind, that's one more option that my indecisive ass has to determine whether or not to keep. To assist with this kind of dilemma, I tend to use my kidnap a friend strategy, which is basically where I kidnap a friend to get their opinion on my artwork. So for this kidnap a friend, I've kidnapped Star to assist. Say hello, Star.
Hello.
You sound very excited.
Bitch, do you want authentic or do you want an actor? Now pick before the shit starts.
Okay, so I need your opinion on this one. We're deciding which color scheme I'm going for.
You mean for the lipstick, right? Or do you
No,
mean
just
like
the
in general?
overall,
anything?
like what color scheme do you think actually... Because the theme is Snow Queen. And which one would give you like the most, I guess, Snow Queeny vibe? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah. The ones on the right are way more fit than the ones on the left.
That's
the
fair,
one.
yeah.
And I think the one like in the bottom gives more of like mature. I don't know how to explain it, because the bright colors on the one on the top gives more like Disney colors. I don't know what I mean.
Okay. So the left ones are also in the same kind of issue, that they're too bright?
I don't think it's an issue per se. You know what I mean? I think they just give different vibes, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, first things first, you need to make all the lipsticks like the red, okay? Because the blue ones look awful. That's one.
Fair. That makes them look like they have hypothermia.
Not only that, they look like they're trying to be goth. So
What's wrong with goth?
I know it does not fit the vibe, okay?
Oh, okay, fair.
She's supposed to like if you have superpowers, would you want to be God? No, you want to be God just so you can be special. You're already special with the ice power. The bright colors are pretty, but then the face she's making, it does not give like oh, it's like a bright like reaction.
Yeah.
It seems like a serious thing.
Like more regal.
Like Exactly. It seems
Mm.
like way more serious than just it's being blended in bright colors. That's why I think the darker colors are like the best. I think the best one overall is the one on the bottom right.
Okay,
Definitely.
cool. Awesome. Thank you for your feedback, Star. And I definitely agree that this piece is definitely the way to go. And therefore, I will be moving forward with this color option. And this is one of the many reasons I love to get a friend's or family's opinion or feedback on a piece. Too often, we are so focused and tunnel visioned on an artwork that we fail to see any issues or errors in our own work. So, having an outside perspective greatly helps since they can point out what they see from an audience perspective. Obviously, there is good and bad feedback, and you should only take feedback that you find productive. For example, there's definitely a difference between someone saying, I think the one nostril is bigger than the other and might be why the proportions are bugging you, and someone saying, the nose is shit. Of course, even though both critiques are criticizing the same thing, one is definitely more productive than the other, and actually gives you direction on where to improve, and doesn't make you feel like it. Obviously, this depends on you and what kind of feedback you're okay with. Like for me personally, I don't mind if someone's feedback on my piece is more blunt and tells me something's wrong or off about it. However, I know most people aren't comfortable with that and prefer a more friendly approach, which is completely fine as long as it helps you. Moving on to the lighting and rendering tests. For this I already had a soft lighting setup in mind, so I mainly played around with having the crown and antlers being made of ice. But I also wanted to push it a bit further, so for option 2 I made the Snow Queen's eyes to be ice as well. I definitely think this is a lot more visually striking, so I decided to go with this one. After that, it's onto the cleanup, but there's not much to say since the cleanup for this piece is pretty straightforward and I'm only using bluish greys for the line work instead of different colours, so moving right on to the rendering. Add some colour to the face, because she's pale as fuck, lighting and shading, snowflakies, piercing eyes, antlers and crown, and done! So far this is going to be one of my favourite artworks in this collection because I really love the ice elements and how it ties everything together. Now for the name. This is another indecisive moment because I didn't want to just call this piece Snow Queen because, too obvious. So I just saved myself the hassle and looked up names that mean snow or ice. And the two I think could work really well is Nevaria or North. Which brings me to the next problem. I like both names, and I don't know which one I want to use for the piece. Well, I guess since there's two, I can just flip a coin, so here goes. Okay, Nevaria it is. Awesome, now that that's settled, I would usually mark this done on the rework board, but since that's obviously not possible, all I'll say is once again, feel free to let me know which piece you'd like me to do next. There is a vote for number 9 by Wiggly Lines YT, which means so far that piece is in the lead to be next. And by the way, thank you Wiggly Lines YT for your vote. I really do appreciate it. It does make it easier on my indecisive brain. So thank you. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you in the next one.
What you call him? Blue? Blumbup?
What?
Blood.
Blood. What did you say? Blumbub?
It's something with a B.
Yeah, but close. Blumbub?
How the fuck did you come up with these names? What's wrong with you?
How the fuck did you come up with Blumbub?
When I first heard you say the names in the video that you said, I was like, who? It's like, Ingsy. Her name's Ingsy? Bro, I literally had a split second in my brain where I'm like, is that her middle name?
You thought my middle name was
I don't
Inksy.
know, okay? I do not know.
Have you never heard of personas at all?
Yeah. I caught onto that after I saw the YouTube shorts.
Oh, I'm loving how, it didn't click that this cartoon character was not only my persona, but the persona would also have its own name.
No clue. I thought you were just gonna name her Blue.
That's also a persona!
Yeah, I know, but Blue is more the thing that we all know you as. You don't have Discord like username as Inksy for me to be like, oh, that's Inksy. The fuck kind of name is that?